That's it. Hi everybody, welcome to my live video. My name is Tiffany Hansen and I am so incredibly excited to see you all here with me. All right, so this video, this tutorial is going to be done live. So whenever I do live tutorials, I do find myself to be a little nervous because they go just however the wind blows in a way, because there is no editing, there is no redos when it comes to live tutorials. It is just me and you talking, discussing, and the one thing I really love about live tutorials is I get to engage with you. You have my attention, you have me live right now, and I'm here with you, spending time with you. And the same, you're here with me, and I get to spend time with you, and I get really excited. So the way these video tutorials work when I go live is I start with going over all things color and yarn, like what yarn to use for your project. I actually discovered that there are certain emotions that we feel connected with certain colors, and I know that picking the right color for your crochet project really is vital. It is extremely crucial, because I don't know if you've ever experienced this before yourself personally, but I know I have, where you crochet a gift for somebody. You crochet them something, whether it be for a birthday or a holiday, or just because you want to do something special for them. And I swear, it literally takes them seconds to either be very excited about that thing or just reject it altogether. And I mean, those precious seconds that somebody can judge what you put your heart in, your time in, and even expenses, because yarn is expensive. And you put all this into this project just for a couple seconds of somebody to judge it either really well or just tear it apart, you know? So I want to prevent that from happening to you, especially this time of year. August is when we really start thinking about the holidays. We really start thinking about the colder weather because we want to be ahead of the game. It takes us time to create things, right? It takes us time to crochet things. So we want to get started now, and I want to prepare you for success. I really want to share with you what I have discovered, what I have learned in regards to color and yarn and how to pair them together, and also how they affect your emotions, how they affect your mood. But also, lastly, I definitely want to hit on how you can choose your colors to make a gift for someone. Most primed for that, yay, this is amazing, and not, thanks, appreciate it, you know? So I'm really excited about this video. This is going to be great, and I'm so excited to have you here with me. Just in case you didn't know, it would be great if you could like this video. It just tells YouTube and everybody else if it is a video worth watching. And also, subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss any of my videos. I try to release a brand new video every single Friday, covering a wide range of different types of crochet projects, tips and tricks, the basics, like things that are just good to know in general. And I also have fun giveaways, such as the giveaway that I'm doing tomorrow. So if you haven't entered in that giveaway, make sure you do, because I am announcing the winner for my mystery box number 5 tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Texas time, because that's where I live. And I would love for you to just be a part of my journey, a part of my channel, and let me be a part of yours. All right, so I'm going to try to just let this flow naturally. That way I don't get hung up so much. I do have everything. I have so many pictures ready for you guys. I wanted to make sure I had visual examples for you so that it's easiest to follow along with me. But I also don't want to get too caught up in everything that I've prepped here, because then I end up like second guessing myself, or it just kind of becomes jagged in a way. So I really want this to flow naturally. I want this to be something that is more of a discussion for you, especially since anyone that comes to see this live tutorial after I have finished the live tutorial, I want you to be able to enjoy this. But also, if you are here for the Q&A, I am going to be doing the Q&A, questions and answers, after this tutorial, where I can answer any of your crochet related questions. I already have some prepped that I've asked people on my Instagram and my Facebook page if they had any questions for me, and I have those questions front loaded and ready to go. If you have not joined me on Instagram or Facebook, do so, because I also let my viewers on Facebook and Instagram choose my profile or the pick to this thumbnail for this video. They got to pick what picture I used for the thumbnail of this picture, or this video. So that was really fun too. If you do have a question for me, please, in the chat, in all caps, start your question with question. That way, when I'm sifting through all of the comments, I can quickly divert my attention to questions and get to them quicker and not have to spend so much time reading. You know what I mean? So that would be great. Also, I'm going to focus my attention right here during the tutorial, and then after I'm done with the tutorial, I will then focus my attention on the chat and become more engaged with that. Okay, so if you're thinking I'm ignoring you, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I'm just trying to focus here for the learning portion of this video. Got it? Cool. Awesome. Also, if you'd like to support my channel real quick, I have super chat, super stickers on the bottom of where you type your little message. If you see the face and the little $sign, if you'd like to support my channel, that would be great. You don't have to, but I'm welcome to any and all help to just supply this amazing channel. All right, let's get started. So when it comes to color, we're beginning now. When it comes to color, break down. Okay. Starting with how colors can make you feel when you're putting them together. So we all know the color wheel, right? This should look familiar to you. I love how it goes on the outermost part of this picture. You're seeing the most saturated version of the color. And as you go into the center of the circle where it's pure white, you're just seeing that same color get lighter and lighter, or more and more muted. Now, when it comes to colors, I have been really surprised at just the same color, the one individual color, how it can change your perspective based on how saturated that color is and how muted that color is. So here you see the darker one. Oh, sorry. Here we go. There's my finger. The darker the color is, the more saturated it is, and the lighter the color is, the more muted it is. And that's going to be super important when we start talking about those colors. Before I even dive into colors, I do want to make an important note about colors. So people do react to colors differently, depending on their biological conditioning or their cultural imprinting. And what that means is one person might get really excited about the color blue because it is the color of their family's favorite sports team. Okay, so whenever they see the color blue, they are triggered in a different way than maybe somebody who has no interest in sports, or they've never seen the ocean before, and blue is just not going to have that same trigger as the sports team color is blue. You know what I mean? Or even the flag of your country. Some people are very, very passionate about the color of their flag. And so when they see that color, they have a different reaction to that red, blue, yellow, purple, green, orange, whatever color your flag is. Ours is red, white, and blue. But when you see those colors, for us in the United States, when we see red, white, and blue, we think of just country pride. You know, it gives us a different feeling opposed to another country where they have a different color on their flag. Does that make sense? So colors will trigger different things in different people. So when I'm going about these colors, I don't want you to think it's an overall generalization. It is, for the most part, going to hit people a similar way. But so for example, like if my son loves Fortnite, that color blue might trigger, oh, Fortnite. Whereas this person over here, oh, football team. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind when I'm going over colors. Okay. So When it comes to colors, there are warm color tones and there are cool color tones. The warm color tones are the red, orange, yellows. The cool color tones are the green, blue, purples. This might be overview. You might already know this, but just in case you don't, here you go. So the warm colors, they're meant to bring about, here, let me come back to me. Oh, there we go. So the warm colors are meant to bring about feelings of happiness, optimism, and energy. Okay, so if you want like these really happy colors that are gonna like just make you happy, give you this positive vibe, you're gonna want to go for the warmer color tones, that red, orange, yellow. Okay, now if you want to go for the cooler tones, such as the green, blue, purple, those are gonna bring you more feelings of calming and soothing. Okay, so if you're going for that cooler tone, you want those calming vibes, you want that soothing vibe, maybe for a home project, or just you're making something for somebody to wear, like a beanie, scarf, glove kind of deal, then calming colors can be great, but are for like a teenager, an older individual. But I would go warmer, fun, happy, energetic, enthusiastic color tones for children or even toddlers. So that is going to impact who you make it for, right? And what you are making too. So warm colors, you got the feelings of happiness, optimism, energy. Cool colors, calming and soothing. If you need a notepad, if you need to grab a piece of paper and a pen, I did not write these things down for you, but you can rewind the video or go back and write any of this down if you would like to. Okay, so happy colors, colors that generally make you happy, would be like a peach. Oh, I have these. There we go. Happy colors would be like the peach, the light pink, and the lilac. So these colors are going to just bring about happy feelings. But if you also look, they also have different tones. So we're going to go for a softer tone also. So a softer tone, peach, light pink, lilac. Now, if you want calming colors, like you really just want to fit the mood, fit the vibe, you're going to go for pastel colors. Oh, here, I like this one too. So here, I'm going to remove that. So pastel colors are known for calming, and what they really are is every single color on the color wheel, but really muted, really light, a really light version of this color. So taking all of these colors, there you go, all those colors, just go really soft, really muted, and that will give you a very calming effect in whatever you're making. Now, these colors specifically are known for being calming. It's the lilac, the baby blue, and the mint green. If you notice, a lot of these colors are often used as baby colors, okay? Which makes sense. If you're making something for a baby, you want to have soothing, calming colors. You don't want to have anything that's super hard on the eyes, right? Because we want to create this whole vibe around baby. All right, energizing colors. If you want to create some energy, we're going to go for brights and neons. Now these colors are going to be great. Here, let me come over here so you can see. So these colors are going to be great for the toddler, child, teenager, in my opinion, or if you're really trying to make a statement piece, something that's going to be fun and different. These colors, such as the bright red, bright yellow, the neon green, they are for energy. They make you more alert, but they can also irritate your eyes. So be very careful when it comes to these bright colors, okay? Because they're great and they're different and they attract attention, like your eye goes directly to them, but they can also be too much at some points, all right? And then lastly, oh wait, hold on. It is not receiving enough video. Okay, if you're experiencing buffering, YouTube is just, I saw a notification, YouTube is just buffering right now. Saying something about the streaming. Okay, just give it a second. All right, so saturated colors. These are all deeply saturated colors. So it's basically every single color, but super deep in that color. These colors are going to stimulate effects that can make you feel refreshed or energized. Okay, so I would probably use these individually. I don't think I would mix these with any other color. I would stick to one color only, and it's so deep that I would make this really I would make this like a decor item around the home. If you wanted to go bold and make these colors into a sweater, you absolutely could. I've seen this done. But this, I would definitely say these saturated tones are more of an adult kind of vibe going on here. Okay. All right. So now that we have gone over groupings of colors that can make you happy, I do have individual colors that we can go over. And what I want you to do here in this video, and you again can choose to either write this down or just listen and take it all in. I want you to reflect on what colors bring about a general feeling, okay? And then you can pick which colors you think would attach to somebody you know or fit for a project, okay? So here we go. Let's start with red, okay? Red is going to bring about a feeling of passion and or energy, which makes sense. We usually see red around holidays. We see red when it comes to relationships. And then also with energy, we see red when there's some like extremeness going on, right? So red can be a very powerful color. Passion and energy. All right, orange. Orange is energized and enthusiastic. So using this color will bring about feelings that make you feel this way. Yellow. Yellow, I liked this one. It's happy and spontaneous. When we think yellow, we often think of like the sun or summer or any of those like lemons or any of those vibes that make you think happy memory, happy thoughts. Often, I'm not going to generalize this, but yeah, yellow is, in general, it makes people feel happy and spontaneous. Green is optimism or being optimistic and refreshed. I really like using greens for things of decor pieces around my house because, yeah, it kind of brings about that vibe of outside coming in. And so changing the tones of your greens that you use, but overall, whenever somebody sees green, they are optimistic about something or they feel refreshed. All right, blue. Blue makes you feel safe, relaxed, and calm. And in the source that I used, that is why you will see a lot of like hospitals using the color blue, or you'll see like Facebook uses blue, Twitter uses blue. A lot of businesses will use the color blue because it makes people feel safe and relaxed. I love this color option when it comes to babies, blue, but I also like it when it comes to just relaxing at home, having a different shade of blue. It doesn't have to be this shade that I have on the screen. It can be any shade of the color blue. And this is what, in general, it makes people feel. A lot of people told me their favorite color was purple. Now that makes a lot of sense because a lot of people that follow me on YouTube are creative people. We're all creatives in our own regard. We're crocheters, right? We are the manipulators of yarn. And so purple being a color that makes people feel creative, but also calming makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, when it comes to this color, I can see it being used in so many different ways. I get very excited about the color purple. All right, pink. Pink is a very favorite color among so many people. It brings about feelings of playfulness, but also romance. And that makes sense as well. But just being overall playful. You got bubblegum pink, but you also got that soft pink that a lot of people, that blush pink. Or you got that bold neon. Again, the spectrum can really affect you in so many different ways. But they all do seem to be on the playful side, and I like that. All right, I am guilty of loving the color brown. Beige, brown, really that whole spectrum of brown colors, because it does make me feel stable. It makes me feel that down-to-earth vibe that it's saying right here, that it makes you feel down-to-earth, stable, supportive, calming, and it's a great vibe to have around your home. It really is. When it comes to wearing it, depending on the shade, it can look very flattering, but this is a very versatile color that I get really excited about. You can use it with so many different things, and I love, love, love how it makes people feel. It makes sense why it's so popular. Right, black. Black brings about the feeling of sophisticated, serious, elegant, and professional. Black is a hard color to crochet with. It may be the hardest color to crochet with because it's very difficult to see your stitches. But when people wear it, black is my favorite color to wear. By hands down, favorite color to wear because it's flattering, right? And it makes you look professional. It makes you look elegant, serious, sophisticated. It really does bring about that vibe. And then also in your home, anything you are making in your space, yeah, it definitely changes the vibe of your home and what you're doing. Okay. Oopsie. White. White brings about the feeling of being pure, fresh, or clean. Makes sense. Love white. And last color here is gray. Gray brings about the feelings of serious, professional, and mature. Makes sense. I am also obsessed with gray tones because they do have that professionalism. I really try to surround myself with professionalism because it helps my brain. Just keeps me focused in those regards. And I love to wear it too. So now we have covered the colors and how in general they apparently make people feel. And that can be really, really good to know, especially the saturations of a color. The lighter the saturation or more muted the color is, the calmer it makes you feel. The more saturated a color is, darker a color is, the more serious that color makes you feel. It's more, it just is taken in a different context, right? It's taken, what did I say in my notes here? The more saturated a color is, it's feeling of refreshed and energized. Okay. There you go. So on a spectrum, the more muted, the calmer, the darker, the more energized. That's easy enough to remember. Okay. All right. So now that we have gone through all the colors, I now want to share with you different ways to pair your colors. Okay, this is going to be really cool. So the very first way is the complementary colors. In this case, we are just dealing with two colors. You're either going to be pairing red with green, orange with blue, purple with yellow, or what? Yeah, that's it. Those colors. In this regard, where am I? There we are. When it comes to contemporary colors, you're really just mixing two colors. And it's going to be the direct opposite of the color wheel. Okay, this can be really good at making a color pop, bringing it a lot of attention. So you can absolutely choose to do that if you want to make that decision, and then decide if you want to go big sections of solid lines, or if you want to mess with how the pattern goes, but you're only using the two colors. Okay, the next way you can mess with colors or pair colors together is called the triadic color combos. And this is where you take three colors and you're going to have them evenly spaced around the color wheel, like a quadrilateral triangle where every side is even. So you're picking three colors. Oops. And this can be really cool if you want to have 3 colors, if there are 3 colors that are on your mind that you really like and you want to utilize, or if you just want to have more going on in your project. The third way you can combine colors is the analogous color combos. And this is probably my favorite because you can go anywhere from 2 different yarns up to, they said 5, not to go more than 5 colors. But they are all in line right next to each other on the color wheel. This can be really, really pretty when, if you want to just take one color and then go like dark, lighter, 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 and end with the lightest, or reverse. Or if you want to do the different colors on the color wheel and just all in sync, that ends up being really, really pretty. So if you wanted to utilize that color combo, that works great. Last color combo that they mentioned was called the tetradic color combos, and that's where there is more of a square. And when it comes to this one, let me grab my notes here. It says to really focus on 2 of the colors, making 2 colors be dominant, and then causing there to be no clear dominance. Okay, so there's just 4 evenly distributed colors here on the color wheel. That looks like a rectangle. Okay, so different ways to take that color wheel and use it in a way to help you pick what colors you want to use for your project. That way the colors work. So if you don't really have anyone in mind, or you just have colors that you think are gorgeous and you want to see which colors will actually work together, this is a great tool that you can use to figure out what colors really will work together and feel more comfortable and safe in knowing that this is scientists and artists and people around the world use these. This isn't just a crochet tip here. This is something that is taught in schools and colleges, and now you know it as well. So now it is a tool in your back pocket that you can use for your future projects. All right, so now we've gone over how the colors and how they make you feel. We've gone over different ways that you can pair colors so that way they will work with each other. Now I want to go over the actual crochet project aspect of your projects. Okay, how to really help you decide what yarns to use in a project that you want to make for somebody as a gift. So when you are making something for someone as a gift, if they have a favorite sports team, use the sports team's colors. Instant connection with somebody. They're going to see it, get it, love it. It's going to mean more to them because they're going to say, oh my gosh, you thought of me. You thought of something that I like. And now I get to support you as well because you made this, and now I will support you in what you made, but also be super excited because it's something I can connect with, right? Same thing goes with college colors. There's people in the South here that are just crazy about their colleges. Ridiculously just like super supportive fans. I know that happens everywhere in the world. People find their college and those colors are something they just want to support all the time. So again, if they have a favorite college, a favorite character, such as if there's a kid that has a cartoon favorite character, like I mentioned in a video, Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol is a cartoon about puppy dogs that have different powers and they help people. But each dog has its own kind of color scheme. So if you took that, if their favorite character was like this dog, then you could take the colors of that blanket, or you could make, a beanie or a scarf or whatever you wanted to make, knowing that those colors would connect with that person and make them super uber excited, right? Favorite colors. If you were going to take somebody's favorite color, you can either choose to do the whole project in that one color, or take that whole, let me find the picture so I have a visual example. So let's say that their favorite color is blue. Okay, you could make their project in that whole triangular version of the blue shades, and that they would love it. They would freak out. They'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Again, what you are doing with the gift is you're keeping in mind the person that you are making that gift for. You're thinking of something that will light a spark in them, make them excited, form a connection, right? If you can find that one thing that can form a connection with that person, find the colors, you can make anything and they're going to love it. And you don't have to worry about that dreaded, oh my gosh, this flopped, they rejected it issue. Okay. Now they like. If you're like, okay, I want to make something, but I don't know them very well, or I don't know what they're into, you can stick right here in this category. Okay. Babies, calm colors, those muted, soft colors all day long. Okay. You don't even have to know if the baby theme of their room is purple or green or pink, blue. You don't have to know that. As long as the colors of whatever you're making is soft and muted and that pastel, really light on that color spectrum, you're golden, you're fine. Neutrals, the gray tones, the brown tones that we talked about. Anything also that, neutrals being browns and grays, anything on that spectrum, you're safe. You really are. If you want to look at how colors make you feel and you want to create a certain vibe for that person, like I really want to energize you, or I really want to refresh, make you feel refreshed, like all those different colors have those different connections with emotions. You can definitely kind of mess with that as well, or combine some colors together like we learned with the color wheel, and really just kind of make something really cool for that person, being smart about the colors. And then if you want to, when you give it to the person, you can then explain to them what you learned about colors and what you're hoping it'll do for them. And that'll bring even more to the gift because it was even more thoughtful in what you did. And then they will feel just that much more connection to the item you made them, opposed to, I just made you a blanket. And they're like, thanks. You know what I mean? So having purpose behind it will make that gift just so awesome. And then I did find in my research, minimize number of colors for calming. So I did find in here, let's see if I can find it here, just so I can say it right. Nope, it's not here. All right, so I did find that you want to be very careful with how many colors you bring to your project. The fewer the colors, the calmer it is to the eye, because your eye isn't like searching all the colors, and if there's a lot of colors, it can be really hard on the eyes. Makes sense? So if it can be like mostly one color, with a second color, third color in there somewhere, that will be more calming than a whole bunch of lines or a whole bunch of stripes. But a whole bunch of stripes can also look really cool. So just keep in mind with your project what you're trying to accomplish. Does that make sense? All right, guys, that's it. That is everything that I have for you in regards to color. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's everything I have for you in regards to color. I really hope that it helps you. I wish that I had this a lot sooner. I still make a lot of mistakes. It is fascinating to me that you can make a project that can be absolutely stunning, but if you make it in a color that people don't like, it gets completely rejected, no matter how stunning the stitch is, no matter how much time you spent on it. Doesn't matter. The color will make or break the project in types and patterns from 30, 40, 50 years ago, because the patterns themselves are still beautiful. They're still relevant. People just aren't interested in that color palette anymore. The color palette really turns them off. So I take those patterns and I bring new life to them with color, and it's amazing. People think it's a brand new thing, and it's like, no, it's not. I just changed the color, and color is powerful. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you liked it. That is the end of this tutorial. I am now ready for the Q&A session. Woo! Let's get started with this. I am excited to be engaged in answering your questions. Now, I did already front load questions from my Instagram and Facebook because I asked them if they had any questions to front load that I could get prepared for this Q&A, so it was a smooth transition right into it. So I'm going to hit those up first, and then I'm going to go into the chat. Make sense? All right, let's do this thing. All right. So Mrs. I My Not 24, this was on Instagram. She asked, doing my first craft fair in October, what are your top 5 tips or must-haves? Okay, so when it comes to craft fairs, or even if you're trying to make things for people for gifts, so kind of falls in the same category. Know who's going to be there. Okay, is this going to be at a church? Is it going to be at a school? Is it going to be, is it going to say anything about Christmas, or is it going to just be a winter festival or event? So know those things, know your audience. That way you can really hit it up. Is it going to be young families that are going to show up to this? Because if it's going to be young families that show up to this, I'd say stick to smalls and gift ideas, because that's going to be great for people to just kind of pick at and say, oh, I can get this and this and this and this for so and so and so and so and so and so. Okay, so I do have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel called Smalls. If you go to playlists and Smalls, I also have more ideas on my Pinterest boards that I have created just for you guys, and I have a Pinterest board called Smalls, so you can go there and get more ideas of things that I thought were really exciting but haven't had a chance to make yet. All right, I would also stick with maybe a couple holiday things, meaning Christmassy things. I would put some of those on my table. Beanies, I would put some beanies on my table. Those sold well. Baby stuff, kids stuff sold great because parents are like, ooh, I need to get this for so-and-so. Try to spark that interest. What animals are popular this year? Unicorns are still popular. Mermaids are still popular. Dinosaurs popular. Sharks are popular right now. Really just go into any store, Target, Walmart, and check out their kids section and see what animals are being showcased in that section. There are people that are paid to research this information. What are people into right now? So utilize what they have researched and done by going to the store and seeing what's popular right now. Spa stuff also. I made a list of spa stuff. I haven't gotten to everything yet, but again, Pinterest board for more ideas. For those people that want to get something for somebody but don't know what to get them, spa stuff is safe. Stuffed animals, little tiny ones though. Don't waste your time on big ones because that's going to cost you too much money and not make any sense. Okay, if you're going to make stuffed animals, make small ones. So there's some. Check out my video on what to make to sell fall and winter 2020. A lot of it still applies. I think that'll be great for you. Okay, next question. Sammy from Instagram. What are your favorite crochet hooks to use when crocheting? Now, this is going to sound really boring because I would love to say something exciting like furls or baits or one of those really, really fancy crochet hooks, but honestly, my favorite ones to use are just the Thin Metal Boy brand. Those are my favorites. They fit well in my hands, and I really, when I crochet with my hands a little on the lighter side, so I'm also a pencil holder, not a knife holder, so that also probably affects how I hold the crochet hook. And I just found that the furls, when I hold it, I'm holding it so daintily with how I hold it that it's almost like, maybe it takes a second to get used to it. Maybe I've only used it on a couple projects, but yeah, I just like the regular cheap metal crochet hooks. They work the best for me. Okay, Caroline from Instagram, how do you recommend starting out on Etsy or an Etsy store? What things should I start out selling, and how do you recommend pricing things? Okay, so when it comes to Etsy, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Etsy. Etsy is great because it's a website that's already established. A lot of people know it. They know that that's where you can go to buy a handmade item. But unfortunately, Etsy is extremely flooded when it comes to crocheted items, and the only way to really stick out is if you make something extremely different. Like the chick that made little covers for turtles to cover their turtle shells so that way she could spot her turtle in her yard. Like she did great, but nobody else was doing that. I know the one thing that did really well for me is I created my own pattern for a beanie that was for the horned frog here in Texas. It's the mascot of one of the colleges here in Texas. It's the horned frog. And I made the patterns for a beanie, and nobody else had really created that before, so that did well. So if you can find something to set yourself apart, make yourself different in some way, then you have a better chance. But getting found is the hardest thing when it comes to Etsy. So there are a lot of tutorials, a lot of things that you can research for best success on Etsy. But honestly, the best thing that I have found that works for me is being on YouTube, having people see me, recognize me, and then through that go to Etsy to grab whatever they need to grab. And I do have stuff for sale if you would like to buy some stuff. I have actual tangible projects that you can buy and I'll ship to you. But right now, I think the things that do best for me are my patterns. And then how do you recommend pricing? I did actually make a video on how I price my items. I have it on my YouTube channel if you'd like to find that video. I think it'll do great for you. Okay, so next question. Sammy, how do you keep your yarn from twisting? I usually try to stick at one color at a time. I don't fuss with having two colors next to each other because they do twist when you are crocheting. So I do love that new bag that I got that has the individual dividers for the yarn to prevent twisting. I will take my yarn. So how I use my yarn for my projects is I'll take the skein from the store. I will re-roll the skein either into a ball, or I have a yarn ball roller. So depending on what mood I'm feeling in, I will roll that out or roll it out. That way I can eliminate any knots that are potentially in the skein itself. And then I will put it in like a bowl, or I will put it in something to prevent it from twisting or knotting up, if that makes any sense. So that's how I do that. All right, Tiffany Patterson from Instagram. Can you do a campfire cardigan tutorial, please? All right, Tiffany, I really would love to do this campfire cardigan tutorial for you. I need to look into it. It is on my list of tutorials that I want to do. So you are on the list, but that list is long. So if you can be patient, I will get to it. And I want to make more clothes because I think that's exciting. And I love that a lot of you branched out into, getting outside your comfort zone and making your first Tiffany top. That was really cool. And I want to make other clothes that are super easy to make, but also look good on. So you are on the list, I promise. Okay, Debbie, I've recently completed a baby blanket. It's a little wonky. How do I square it up? Should I block it? I've never tried this process and a little apprehensive. All right, so if your baby blanket, I mean, honestly, the first thing I would try is blocking to see if that would help, because it is great how blocking can help you morph and reshape something. I get how it's scary. I did make a tutorial on blocking in hopes that it would help to ease you into the process, make you feel more comfortable with blocking. If you want to, what I would do is I'd take a small swatch. I'd make a small swatch that's like 4 inches by 4 inches using the same yarn that you used for the baby blanket, okay? And then I would block that and see how it turns out. And that will make you feel more confident and more comfortable when taking the entire blanket and trying to do the same thing. Also, check your yarn label or the label that for your yarn that you used on the blanket, and make sure that it can go in water. It can be washed. If it is a wool or like alpaca or anything of a natural fiber, you may want to be very careful, or may not even want to block. Those ones are touchy. They really are. But other than that, I think you'll be okay. Check out that video. Let me know if you have any other questions. All right? All right. You guys are awesome. Take you away. Okay, so Sammy from Instagram, what is your favorite type of yarn to use on a project? Now this varies. If I'm making a blanket, my favorite yarn to use is a size 5 bulky chunky yarn, because those yarns whip up a blanket much quicker. And I really like yarns that feel more natural in fiber. I don't like yarns that feel, I am more prone to some acrylics for sure, but I like wools. I do. Wools and acrylics, those are great. So I try to stick with the size 5. But if I'm making a stuffed animal, I really like to use Karen's Simply Soft yarn, because that yarn is it's so sleek and it's so clean, and it's so, when you do the stitches, everything is very, what's the word? Crisp. You can see every detail of everything that you did. So when I'm making my stuffed animals, I can make the stuffed animals tighter and I can make them more defined. And so I really like using that kind of yarn. So it really depends on the project. If I'm making washcloths or anything that I want to use in the home, I prefer to use cotton yarns. So yeah, it really depends on what I'm making, what I'm trying to accomplish. All right, how do you start a crochet business? You literally just start. Get yourself out there, make some things, and then you have to have a presence somehow. And you have to know what you want to do. Do you want to sell your things? Do you want to teach people how to crochet? Do you want to just sell patterns opposed to actual items? Decide what you want your crochet business to be. Selling at an event, opening up an Etsy shop, opening up a YouTube channel, starting a YouTube channel, you could get an Instagram account or Facebook account and start posting pictures of things that you are making. A website maybe to link people to, so if they like something, they can go to it. But yeah, you have to decide what you want to even do, and then make a presence for yourself. Get out there, get known, because unless people see you, unless people know you're there, then they don't know to do business with you. Does that make sense? And so that's the hardest part, and that's where a lot of people on Etsy get kind of stuck. They end up spending a bunch of money on marketing when it's just, you got to get people have to see you, people have to find you, so you have to figure out how to do that. Okay, all right, so marketeers on Facebook, how do you keep your edges straight? Mine seem to meander. So when it comes to your edges of your project, this is mostly a counting thing. Make sure that you have the same number of stitches in each row. Check that out. And if it still isn't quite right to you, you can always put a border around it, even if it's a single crochet, one row, single crochet border around it. It can clean up those sides for you. Okay, so first check your counting, check your stitches to make sure you're staying on count. And then second, you can always put a border around it. Or third, you can block it and just reshape it, remold it, and how you want it to look when it dries. Okay. Oh, these are all great questions. How do you edit your videos? I use Filmora Wondershare. I love the program. I think it's great, but it can take me a while. Videos, I think people don't realize that recording a video, making something, takes me anywhere. Just recording it can take me anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours, depending on what I'm making. And I have to do that in as close to one shot as possible. If it's taking too long, I'll take a break in there. But there's recording, and then after that I edit, and I edit out all the long pauses, all the ums, ands, all those weird little words that are unnecessary. I try to make my edits as quick as possible to get to the point, but also allow myself enough time to really explain what's happening in a timely manner without making the person feel like I rushed it, but also not making it seem so long-winded. So it takes a lot of getting used to with your editing and knowing the zooming in or the zooming out or keeping someone's attention, or there's so much involved in editing your video. And editing a video takes me anywhere from 4 to 12 hours just to edit the video after I've recorded it. So yeah, it's a process. It is. How do you make a schedule on when to post your YouTube videos? So at first, when I first got started doing YouTube, making my videos, I was posting twice a week. Those long-time lifers that I have that have been here with me since the beginning, you probably remember when I was posting every Tuesday and every Friday. But I ended up realizing that my schedule was burning me out. I would record, edit, post, record, edit, post, take Sunday off, record, edit, post, record, edit, post, and it was insane. So I had to step back and just resort to posting once a week, which I do on Fridays, and I'll even do more work to flip things to a left-handed version for my lefties out there, and I'll post that on Saturdays. But I have other things going on behind the scenes that I'm super excited about, more growth, more things that I'm trying to do for you. And I am so excited about it, but it's not ready yet. I am hoping that I can have a website ready and up next month. Those are a lot of work. And finding the right person to make it, and they cost money, and all those fun things. So that is going to be exciting news that I'm going to have next month, hopefully ready to go for you. And then I'll have some place to direct you for patterns and stuff and tutorials, and just it'll be a central hub. Like, if you want this, go here. If you want this, need this, go here. I'm excited about it. Okay. How do you pick colors for your crocheted items? Boom! I answered that question in this video today. I'm very excited about it. Hope that helps. Why can't I get the hang of my tension when crocheting? This is a great question, and I know it's so frustrating. I know it's so incredibly frustrating to work and something just isn't looking right, and you're trying so hard. And the only real answer that I have for you is practice. You'll eventually just get it. You feel it with your hands. How things are working. You realize, oh, this needs to be tighter, or I need to loosen up here. That is just not what you want to hear. But it is so true. Just keep practicing. And if you're really struggling with tension, try not to go dive into these stitches, these crazy stitches like a fan or a an increase or a decrease or a V-stitch or anything like that, try to stick with basic stitches to get the hang of your tension, like single crochets, half double crochets, and double crochets. Stick right there in that family until you have your tension where you want it to be, and then you can try the other stuff. All right, can you please do the granny heart tutorial? I would love to do the granny heart tutorial. I'll put you on the list. And yeah, that one will be really, really great to have for even February. And I don't know if you want to hear that. Like, I don't want to wait that long. But that might be a January, February project where I get it prepped for you early enough so you have enough time to get that done for Valentine's Day. What project should I crochet after making making my blanket? Now that depends. Are you making a baby blanket? Because you could pair that with a stuffed animal, a beanie, you know, something to make like a set. Did you make a blanket for yourself? And if you did that, what I try to do after making a blanket project, because blanket projects can take a long time, I try to immediately follow it up with a quick project, something I can finish fast. Because if I get bogged down if I have too many long-term projects going, I get bored, I'm bouncing, and I'm losing my motivation. I'm just, it's taking too long. And so what I will do is I will try to whip. So maybe you want to try something like that to just keep your crochet mojo, or crojo like it's called, keep that up. All right. Okay. So that was the last fronted question that I had from my Facebook and Instagram. Now I will go to my computer and see what you guys have said. Thank you so much for hanging out with me through this whole time. You guys are troopers. You're so awesome. I really appreciate you, especially this time of day. Okay, so hopefully you did do the question thing. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for anyone that in bold put question in front of their question, so that way, you know, the quick eye connection there. If you said anything in the comments, like, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me. I always love spending time with you. I'm going to read through all of the comments as soon as this tutorial is done. If you're getting back to this tutorial after I've finished my live, I will read all of your comments below that. If you have any questions or if you have anything fun to say, I would love to hear it. If you do have anything pressing, any questions that I don't get to, and you really need an answer for it right away, feel free to email me or get in touch with me through my social medias, which you will be able to find in the description section below this video. And I will also put it in the comment section below this video when this is all wrapped up. Okay, so going through. Good morning, everybody. It is not 1 a.m. in Australia right now. Bonti, you're amazing. What are you doing up at 1 a.m.? Oh my gosh. Question. I love how you guys just talk amongst each other too. That's so cool. La la la. Question. I am a beginner crochet. Okay, this is Sheila. Question. I am a beginner crocheter. Would love to try an easy poncho. Do you have an easy one I could try to make? Not yet, but I am wanting to make one so bad. So I have one coming, but I do not have one yet. There are so many things that I want to make. And a poncho has been one that has been on my list for a while. So I'm hoping that I can create something really cool really soon. So fingers crossed. La la la. Question. Thank you, Anonymous Amy. All in bold, makes it really easy to see. Do you pick the project or colors first? Pick the project first. Well, I take that back. It really depends. If I'm going through the store and a yarn speaks to me and I just have to have it, then I'll buy it, and then try to figure out what to do with it. I'm sure that, like, say something in the comments if you're still in here at this point and you've ever just bought a yarn because it was awesome and then had to figure out what to do with it afterwards. Like, say me in the comments section. Oh my gosh, because yeah, that has happened more often than not. I will buy things because I think they're pretty and then try to figure out what to do with them. There have only been a handful of times when I've gone to the store with a purpose, like, I'm going to make this, what colors will meet those needs? Make sense? So, and I've also I'm trying to use up my stash right now, so I get all these coupons and stuff, and it's driving me crazy because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's another coupon. But I'm trying not to go to the yarn store right now and just use up my stash. Find projects to use this with. So in that regard, yeah, I have the materials. I just need to figure out what to do with them. And that's honestly what I do most of the time. I find something pretty and then I'm like, okay, now what do I do with you? Not the best way to do it, honestly, but yeah. I have neon color yarn. What do I crochet with them? When it comes to neon colored yarns, I would do beanies, scarves, and mittens or gloves. I'd probably stick with those, or pillows. You could do pillows. That could be cool too. Or a really cute tote bag. That would be cute too. Just some ideas right off the top of my head right there. If you have a specific project you want to make, check out my Pinterest boards. Whenever I go to Pinterest, I try to just stack up my boards with so many ideas. So there's never something not in a board. I mean, I'm always getting inspired by something to make. So there's got to be something in there that you're like, I could do that with my neon yarn. Favorite color is purple. Thank you, Alpha. Question: why do you use these words for each color, and why did you decide these words for these colors? I didn't decide them. They were from my source, Samantha. Great question. When I did my research, this isn't stuff that I just pulled out of thin air. I have my source on where I got my information in the description section of this video. And it's something that somebody researched. It's something that somebody took a lot of time in, and it's actually not meant for crochet. It's meant for businesses. So it's what businesses would use, how they would use their color to get certain reactions from people. And so yeah, this isn't my information. This is something that somebody researched, and I pulled that information. And what I'm hoping for is not necessarily for you to rely so heavily on how the colors generally make people feel, but mostly just understand that a color can make somebody feel that way. And when they're saturated, they make them feel more energetic. And when they're more muted, it makes them feel more calm. So that way, if you're going for a certain vibe, to know, oh, I really like this bold purple. This bold purple just makes me feel this way, opposed to like a very, very soft purple will make you feel more calm and soothed, and if that makes sense. So good question. Checking my criteria, my credibility. See, I'm getting so much purple love right here. All you purple people, it's because you're all crafty. I know, right? The color wheel people being like purple and yellow going together. I know. The color wheel throws me off sometimes too, but apparently it's not necessarily so much that they go together, but they make each other pop. And I promise, anything that was just said in the comment section, I will go back and reread everything and give you so much more attention. But for right now, I'm trying to get to questions. That way I can answer those for you. I have a question. What is best made with 1 weight yarn? I don't often use size 1 weight, but they work well for socks. They work well for doilies. They work well for bookmarks, for anything dainty. If you really are optimistic and want to go for it, it'll be a really long-term project, but any shawl made with really, really thin yarn can look exquisite, just dainty and delicate, and it can be very pretty. When you're working with size 1 yarn, you're making delicate things that are time consuming, but they look stunning. So they can have a huge benefit. There's a definite reward of working with size 1 yarn. It's just a matter of patience with finishing it. And I'm sure if you were to go on Pinterest, I know I'm talking up Pinterest right now because that's where I get so many ideas. I have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest because I have like 3,000 or more plus pins of things that I would love to make, but we'll probably never get to. It's like all this inspiration. Question. I find it hard to read crochet patterns, knit patterns. Have you ever, or could you do a tutorial on how to read, understand patterns? I have, Becky. Check it out. Let me know if it helps. I think it helps. I hope it helps. But I made it a long time ago. And as I've grown on YouTube, yeah, I have, go on my channel, go under, you can check it out under playlists. Crochet Basics. I have reading crochet patterns on there, and it just goes over the basic stitches, nothing extreme after that. So get in touch with me if you see it and you're like, this, I'm wanting to know how to read patterns for more complex stitches, and I can see what I can do about that, okay? But yeah, if you're just trying for basics, I have that one created. Let me know also if it helped. Give me like a review. Oh, and that same video includes both patterns and charts. I tried to make it well-rounded. I'm not a fan of acrylic. I get that. I've been surprised at how different acrylic can vary. I've checked out so many different yarns. I've played with so many different yarns, and when I read the label to see what it's made out of, I've been really surprised at how acrylic can feel one way, but it can also feel a completely different way. And it's very generic in the sense that it's everywhere, so it's easy to find, and you know, everyone prefers different yarn, but I know some people are allergic to wool, so they result to needing to work with polymer or acrylic like that. But I've also met some people that were allergic to acrylic, which surprised me, but I'm like, oh, okay, so that's a thing. How do you, oh, thank you, Carla, for the bold. How do you personalize a blanket for a certain person? I'm going to give you an answer, but I think a more detailed answer would be if you checked out my video on what to make fall winter to sell, or fall winter 2020 to sell, because I talk about the spark. I talk about making a connection with somebody or reminding somebody of somebody. So if you're making a blanket for a certain person, if you know them, try to use colors that you know that they like, such as, like I mentioned, the sports team, college team, favorite character, TV show, anything in favorite color. If you know them that well. If you don't know them very well, try to stick with those neutrals, are generally safe. Question, thank you, Anne. Question, what type of stitch or pattern is your favorite for a baby blanket compared to an adult? Okay, so that's a good question. So I guess the easiest way to answer that question is a baby blanket. People get really weird about there being gaps or holes in baby blankets because they get worried about fingers and toes getting caught in those big holes, or hands going through really big holes, or just details of the blanket. So a lot of people prefer baby blankets to be tighter stitches, no holes. So in that regard, I really love, like, this stitch right here. It's a fan. I really like fan stitches for baby blankets. I think they're really pretty, really flattering, and there's so many different ways that you can do it. I think fans on baby blankets or shells, yeah, they just look really cute. When I try to do adult blankets, I try to do pieces that are more formal, more decor-ish, and I will try to do, I really like doing longer stitches, or stitches that could result in more holes, or I like a lot more detail and define. Okay, I guess that's another thing I could say. When I do adult blankets, I try to have more detail and definition, because more flat, because you're having to wrap that blanket around baby, and you don't want it to be too difficult to maneuver a fold or a grip, right? So yeah, but honestly, a lot of them, other than the baby blanket needing to not have holes in it because of fingers and toes, I will have a stitch go either way universally. Yeah, good question though. Question, Michelle. Hi, Tiffany. How does one build their confidence with items that they crochet? Couple ways. One, practice. Just make a bunch of something, and you will find that it starts to look more and more defined and more consistent what you're making. Another thing that you could do is you could post a picture of it online or on Instagram, Facebook. Try to sell it at a craft fair. Give it to somebody as a gift. See how they respond when they receive it. That's actually more. If you give it to somebody as a gift, how did they receive it? Were they super excited, or were they flat, like, thanks, that's great, you know? Yeah, it's that. Yeah, I would definitely ask other people, ask their opinions too, but make a bunch of them so you can get really good at making that thing, and then you should be good. Those two things: make a lot of them, get really good at making it, and then ask other people what they think. Question, when changing the size of a blanket pattern, How do you figure out how much yarn to buy? I usually get too little or too much. Ugh, totally get it. Beverly, great question. I did make a video on this where I start off with just one skein of the yarn that you would like to use, and then make the name of the video that I created was How Much Yarn Do I Need? And it has a picture of me holding like a bunch of yarn. But I take one skein of the yarn that I want to use for the blanket. Then I start off making the foundation row chain as long as I want the blanket to be. And then I'll make 2 rows, remeasure to make sure that it's still the same length that I want it to be, because sometimes depending on the pattern you're using, that foundation row chain will increase or decrease in length depending on the size of the stitches you're using in the chain. And then once you're happy with that, use up the entire skein of yarn, then measure how long you're able to get with one skein of yarn, and then multiply or divide the number. Take the number of how long you need the blanket to be to meet dimension, and divide that number by how long that one skein was able to give you. For example, let's say you have one skein of yarn, you used it up for your blanket, and you're able to get 5 inches of length out of it, okay? But the blanket that you're making needs to be 60 inches long to meet blanket dimension. You would take 60 inches and divide it by the 5 that you were able to get with one skein. All right, and then that will tell you how many skeins you will need to make that blanket. Okay, so that's roughly how I do it. The other way you can do it is using a swatch. More math is involved. I would like to make that video at some point teaching you how to use a swatch, which is just a 4x4 square section of a pattern, or a swatch of the pattern, and then you just take a 4x4 inch section of that swatch, and then you measure stitches and measure rows, and it'll tell you so much information. But it is a lot of math, and some people do not like math. So the method that I use of taking one skein of yarn and using it up and then figuring it out is actually significantly less math than using a swatch. But you have to buy one skein of yarn and use it, and then go back and buy the remaining yarn later. But one skein of yarn, depending on the skein of yarn, you could use that up quickly enough to where it's not a big deal to go buy more. Question: if I'm going to make another blanket, how many foundation chains should I use? I have a video on that. Check out my YouTube channel. Check out my playlist, Crochet Basics. I believe it is called How Many Chains Do I Need to Make That Blanket? But yes, check that one out. Also, check out the video that I just made about stitch count requirements, because I believe I also mentioned different blanket sizes in that video as well, and how to meet those blanket sizes. I found a chart on Pinterest that is different blanket sizes, dimensions, and you basically want to try to stay roughly in that ballpark. La la la. You guys are awesome for sticking with me, especially during this part where you're just watching me read. All right, I think I reached the last comment here, Beverly. All right, I think that's it. I think I answered all the questions. You guys are awesome. If you are not already on my Instagram or Facebook, make sure you get on there. That way, when I do my next live, I can ask you a question early before the video. I also try to get you more involved, get you more engaged, let you know a lot of what's happening behind the scenes when I'm editing, when I'm out and about, what I'm doing, when I see something that inspires me and I'm like, ooh, look at that. I try to get you involved as much as possible. I could do a better job, but I'm also juggling a lot of things. So I try to at least keep you as involved as I can. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this tutorial was informative for you. Make sure that you come back to my channel tomorrow, Saturday, August 21st, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Texas time, where I will be doing the reveal and the winner announcement of mystery box number 5. Oh my gosh, it's heavy. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh my gosh, okay, here it is. This big thing is going to somebody tomorrow. And I'm very excited. So thank you so much for joining me today. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you for your time. I will let you go. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for the review.